Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your October reading. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. Great to see you. Quick reminder before we get started, this can be used for sun, rising, and moon. As I was tuning into your sign, I kept seeing a dragonfly. For me, this is auspicious. It shows good luck, a change of fortune, which is something I've seen for a few signs. But it also is almost like an instructional symbol from my guides. And basically it's saying, look at the silver lining and look where the openings exist, rather than focusing on this isn't happening. I'm not seeing, a result with this job application. I asked this person out. They haven't said yes. I've been working hard here. It's not getting noticed. Okay, so those are indications of areas where maybe your energy isn't best invested there. Where can you make a difference? Where can you make a splash? Also, what haven't you tried? It's encouraging you to rise up, because a dragonfly can, very easily hover in different directions, get a bird's eye view, maybe take a step back. If you've been stuck in one situation for a while, it might be time to kind of like allow yourself to experience new things, hang out with a different group, take a break if you can, or a vacation if you've been saving up but haven't taken those days. Change up your routine. Change is going to be the catalyst here, even before we look at the card, that is going to help you create this sort of new movement. And a dragonfly is also very much like a butterfly. It goes through different stages of development. And it starts in the water, and then eventually it's airborne. So some of you might also be working through emotional drama and trauma at the beginning of the month, but you will be in an elevated state towards the end. So Spirit's saying it is better than you think, and it is getting even better, but there's some work to be done in perspective shifts. So if we were to assign one of the tarot cards to this, it would be the Four of Cups. There's stuff that you're focusing on that, while it may be valid, it's only part of the story. It's the tip of the iceberg. So let's see just what else is available for you, and give the cards a shuffle and get started. Before I do that, I know many of you enjoy checking in on Apollo. He's right behind me, sleeping, and periodically I'll turn the camera there so that we can enjoy his sort of Zen energy. Right now, let's turn our attention back to the reading, and I'd like you to clear your mind. So close your eyes if you haven't already, and focus on a clear blue sky. Imagine that any worries or thoughts that you have could just drift off like a fluffy white cloud, and basically leave your mind, body, and spirit completely open and clear. Focus on the sunlight, connect to that as a source of power and inspiration. And now let's welcome in spirits, spirit guides, angels, and ascended masters, and then also your own highest self and guidance. Thank you so much. Let's get started. We're using the Last Unicorn deck today. I just basically decided to repurchase it for myself because it was one of my favorite ones, so I hope you enjoy it as well. Infused with magic and opportunity. Really powerful that we have the High Priestess there in the environment. A message from the universe that thoughts manifest. All right. Got a lot of boss energy too with the King and Queen of Wands, the Emperor. I'm really liking what I see so far. Okay, let's begin with this catalyst card here. It says Plant Nation Herbal Medicine. So this is a really powerful symbol. First and foremost, it's kind of encouraging you to clean up your diet and making sure, of course, that wherever possible that you're kind of detoxing and getting things like maybe extra caffeine or sugar or fat or whatever it is, in a place where it's controllable, and focusing on going as natural as possible. Also, herbs are a great way to balance out, again, standard disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, but sometimes we need to have that balance of Eastern and Western medicine. I recently had a challenge where I had to go on a bunch of antibiotics and some steroids to get over something, and then I've been using herbal remedies to help sort of get my gut and my immune system back where it needs to be. So, but I didn't sacrifice Eastern for Western. It's a blend of the two, and I try to find doctors that listen. So there might be something like that that works for you as well. Herbal tea can be a great thing to put into rotation, especially if you're trying to cut down on caffeine. There are different, even just switching from coffee to like green tea or something like that could be very advantageous. So take a look at what's going on in your diet. Look at the types of plants and vegetables that you're eating. Talk to your doctor. See if there's any changes that can be made to optimize your own health situation. And enough said on that. Now, I'm a big fan of gardening. So I'm looking at the plants here, and some of you may simply be wanting to connect more with nature. And I'm a big proponent of that. So whether it's, having a little patio garden, or one of the reasons I chose this place is because we can see the view of the trees, and no matter where I'm at, I always need to sort of like be somewhat within reach of nature. And I think that could be really helpful for all of you as well. Okay, so either connecting more with the energy of plants and nature, or perhaps putting more herbs, vegetables, fruits into your diet as well. Okay, let's take a quick scan of the table, and then I'll do a card by card analysis. So as I couldn't help but sort of speaking up, it's really good energy. We have an empowered high priestess. And what I mean by that is you have two cards showing manifestation and vision energy, the 2 and 3 of wands stuck together, and they're right next to the high priestess. So she can see it kind of happening in real time. As she's thinking it, as she's saying it, things are starting to manifest. So be careful and be really pointed with how you're saying and thinking about things. This is why the dragonfly came through. One thought, one word can really change your destiny in a positive way if you stay affirmative, if you focus on the silver lining. We'll talk about it as we get into the spread. Before we go too far into anything, let's go to the center card here. We have the Knight of Pentacles. By the way, before we even go to the main camera, there is a stuck page of Pentacles behind it. Let's start with the Knight first. This Knight of Pentacles at the center is basically saying from the very beginning of this month, there's going to be a lot of movement and changes, positive because it's upright, with respect to your time, energy, and money. And if we look at the spread here, I'll turn the camera down for a second. That is why we have a couple cards of management here, the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands. These are also partner cards, so you can do more together. I've said that so many times with all the different signs this month, so you're no exception here, except we're really seeing that it could be very advantageous with money. You'll have more, you can do more together, or at least from a productive standpoint. So look into partnership. If you normally wouldn't, bring someone in on a project, or even just you're very independent thinking, I really feel like someone else could add to the equation and help you keep the pace up here. And that's the other thing. The early bird gets the worm with this Knight of Pentacles. He's not as fast moving as the Knight of Swords, but all knights move quickly. So you're going to be asked to not be a perfectionist this month. It might be hard for some of you, but basically do what you need to do, let go of that, move on to the next thing, let go of that, delegate when necessary, and basically have leadership qualities, which is knowing where you need to focus and letting go of the other stuff. I read this as very, very positive. Now, beneath it, we have the Page of Pentacles, and this is the ability to also ask. If you see that, if you're busy working and doing things and you see a lack, whether you have a page or an ace, they don't have to be reversed either. You can just be noticing, oh, this is something where we need more, or hey, if we put our attention here, something great could happen. You may be splitting your time between two equally alluring projects or two equally taxing opportunities. That's why I think partnership's necessary. But I'm seeing your money or your potential to make money or open doors. It's almost like it's doubling, or there's a lot to grapple with. So take care of yourself. We're not even looking at it in the cards here, but this is like kind of just from the guides. Make sure you're getting enough rest, that you're taking time and taking breaks to look around and talk to people. Take a walk. If you work at home, make sure you go grab a coffee. If you're in an office, walk to the kitchen, talk to people, meet them face to face. Those interactions are going to open up more doors of opportunity, and you might bump into someone on the way. It's the happy, I don't believe in coincidences. It's the synchronicities that you're going to open up by doing that will continue the flow. Already, though, we can see a lot of opportunities knocking this month, and the main thing for you is to figure out how to stay on top of it. It's interesting because you wouldn't expect, we have a hidden opportunity with that page. Someone could be holding back. There could be someone that in your own life knows of something, and it's going to take a minute. They're not easy to trust, and that's what this card is about. It's even easier to see this protective energy in the traditional illustration here in Rider-Waite-Smith. So that person is holding that pentacle to their heart for dear life. They're afraid of letting someone in. They may be afraid of sharing something. And so when it comes to partnership, there may be someone that's super protective of their intellectual property. They're afraid, maybe they've been burned before, and they're just afraid to trust. So you're going to have to work on trust. And for yourself, this is also the universe saying you have to eventually open up. Not everyone is going to be the same. This works in business and love. So in a relationship, this is someone who lets you do most of the talking. They're slow to reveal their own history, their own wishes, and it's, again, more self-preservation. So you may have to coax that out. So this can work in business, it can work in love. It can also be a somewhat miserly, cheap, or frugal to a fault energy. And so what we want to also encourage is an opening up so that you're not sort of holding on in fear, because it doesn't allow you to open up to the opportunities that are knocking. Okay? And that's pretty much everything for the Four of Pentacles. If there is a negotiation on the table, let's say it's a new job or you're trying to sell something, it even could be a big ticket item like selling your house. This is the other party trying to get as much as they can from the exchange. So there'll be a moment where you just have to say this is best and final. And anything less than this, no thanks. Because they'll take as much as you're willing to give. Or, they're going to try to get the best deal possible. This is very interesting. It feels like several of you have already been through a transitional period. It could have been the last month. It could have been this last year. Death in the deep past is typically very positive because it is transformation personified. But it can also symbolize a challenging loss, like losing a loved one or losing a job. So if you've been going through that, rather than just, I'm changing, I'm growing, I understand that the most challenging thing this moment will be just finding your footing, and that could explain why the Four of Pentacles is here. Suffice it to say, from what I'm seeing here, you don't have to live in fear or worry about, this sort of topsy-turvy energy. It really feels like this is a month of stabilization. So emotionally, there may still be a little bit of healing to be done, and once that has transpired, then you can move on. Then you can see the other side, which is growth, opportunity, and basically a chance to reinvent yourself, because to me, death is both death and rebirth. This card from the Lightseers deck really brings that point home. You can see how when one door closes, typically there's one or two other ones that will open up. And here we see, instead of the Grim Reaper, it's almost like you're reaping the rewards of the hard work that you've done. And I think that this is more in alignment with what we see here in the center of the spread with the Knight and the Page. That hidden page, it's going to be interesting to see how that comes into play here, okay? And again, I think it could just be someone holding back, but now it's you can really kind of convey this to them as well, that this is a change for both of you, a change for the better. Okay, let's see what's coming through here in the recent past. We have Queen of Wands energy. This is the boss that wants to come through. It's your inner boss. And for some of you, you may not have had an opportunity to call the shots, either because you're in a family where they always wanted you to be quiet, or you worked in a company where, there were a lot of other voices or whatever. For whatever reason, in this moment in time, it feels like you can actually find the perfect window to speak up and surprise people with what you have to say. You can cook up something great. She's kind of the chef in this particular illustration. I also think that, the ability to come up with something unusual, that's kind of your claim to fame. That's what the King and Queen of Wands, and again, you got both because they're at both ends here. That's what these two cards do the best. If someone's stuck, if someone's holding on to an old way of thinking, that can also be the Four of Pentacles, then you are coming through and trying to, if not win them over, win the rest of the people over and say, hey, why don't we at least give this a try? And I think you have a good chance of getting people to buy into that. This is also saying in this month in particular, you want to focus on getting things in your life organized. She is the kind of energy that would go into the closet, clean it out. Even though she's not connected with finances, she would get all the paperwork and everything put together. And she's also ready to tell people what to do. So if you're willing to just say what's on your mind, I feel like you can get people to follow. And this is basically Six of Wands energy. Not surprisingly, we have the Emperor in the crowning position, the ultimate card basically to show the ability to reclaim power, to basically create. I actually prefer the Empress a little bit to the Emperor on that, but either way, they're both powerful cards that can bring things in the right energy, in the right motion to basically manifest. So you've got this. But the one thing that I don't love about Emperor energy, same thing with Hierophant, is it can be stuck. We see an old man on this card. And really what we want to have is new ways of thinking. And that's where the Queen of Wands energy is coming through. So I feel like there's a little tug of war between innovation and tradition, between the tried and true and the unproven. And that's where it could be difficult for some of you to get people to open up and to understand it's going to be okay. Change is good. Change is growth, right? Kind of like we were looking at this particular death card. It allows us to try new things. I'm going to keep it to the side because I'm sure we'll want to refer to that again. All right, let's go to the near future here with the Eight of Swords. So this is one of two blindfolded cards in tarot, but I like what the artist chose to do with this one. We see this sort of dream or wish energy coming through. And sometimes when we put the wish to the side, when we think to ourselves, maybe it's not going to happen, I'm going to focus on this, that's when the universe comes in and says, oh, ye of little faith, look what I've got for you. I feel like there could be a happy surprise coming through. You may have sworn off something, partnership, the job that you wanted, money, whatever this sort of dream is, something can come through to prove you wrong. And when that happens, don't second guess it. The universe knows best in this situation. This is also saying don't give up on your dreams. Don't limit yourself. Keep reaching for the stars because it's important to have that carrot in front of us, something to look forward to each day, each decade, so that we're constantly growing, evolving, and engaged, okay? So if it's been a minute or two since you've given yourself a chance to tune in and think, what do I need? What do I want? How do I feel? That's the one takeaway from this reading that is going to change your life, to change your trajectory, and that could open you up to seeing, wait, I really want this. Why haven't I done it? And then also, hopefully you're at a point where you're like, I'm going to do it and I don't care what people think because this is part of my calling. This is part of my path. And when you get to that point of kind of like disconnect but connect, that's when this unicorn energy comes through that we see here on the Eight of Swords. You can't ignore something. There are other things that we can attribute to the Eight of Swords. It is blindfolded. So sometimes we try to plug our ears, close our eyes, and ignore someone's true character. Sometimes we try to settle for what we see here, the devil that you know. And that's how I like to look at the Four of Pentacles sometimes. It's saying, well, I will stick with this person, place, or thing because it's predictable. And if I try something unproven, maybe it's worse. But folks, what if it's better? What if it's far better than what you have right now? There could also be someone here that is trying to cast a spell of disbelief on you. This reminds me of the Snow White witch, right? When she comes in as the old lady with the apple. So this is someone that really doesn't have your best interest at heart. They kind of want to keep more for themselves. So be mindful of that, particularly when it comes to, like if there's anyone, like a coworker or family or a friend, where they just don't want you to succeed or they want to hold you down or hold you back, it is time to sever the ties there. It's time to focus. And you can't ignore that kind of characteristic because it's not allowing you to reach your potential. From a health perspective, always looking at eyes and ears in this particular card, so getting a vision test or hearing test if anything's going on there, not ignoring something in your body, not ignoring something in your house or your car as well. Preventative care, preventative maintenance is the key to success. Let's see how you're showing up. Three of Pentacles is pretty good, I have to say. This is a chance for you to partner up with others to accomplish what you set out to do, not just accomplish, but master any sort of challenge in front of you. Here's the traditional card. I think it does a better job in this situation to explain what we need to focus on. So for some of you, you're so close to completion, it's finishing touches. So that's what we see here. If you want to go to school, if you want to get a certification, learn something new, Three of Pentacles shows you that there's an absolute return on that investment and that you'll be able to soak in that knowledge. So this is a perfect time for expanding your horizons however you feel best. And also this is, for those of you that are writers, this is the card of writing. It's connected to also curriculum, even scientific work, anything that you want to put into written or text form for mass consumption. Really, really good. Publishing as well. So you're in a good space. Now, what we see here is other people may be competing with you because they see that, because this particular deck took a different approach. So we see people here that are partnering and kind of like on the same page. This could be a peer that is seeing you as a threat. It's kind of interesting. You're doing something right if the people are nervous around you. Obviously, don't let it get to you. There's always going to be feedback. There's always going to be criticism, but I also think there's going to be praise. And this card represents that you will eventually get your flowers. You'll get your moment. In the environment, peeking through, we have the High Priestess. She's empowered because she has 3 and 2 of Wands here in Hope, Spheres, and Opportunities. Even alone, she's amazing. This is the ability to see it and then do it. I have to look at this closely. So in her eyes, I think there are 2 different cards here. One of them represents the Tower. I think one of them is the Star. If we look really closely, there's a couple of different cards that are in her 2 eyes. But it's interesting because after the Tower comes the Star, and the High Priestess is seeing a way maybe even to avoid a Tower moment or a difficult moment. She's very much in control. This is the silver lining too. That may have fallen apart. That may not have worked the way that I wanted, but look at what I've got now. I didn't waste my time here. Now I can focus on this. Your thoughts manifest in real time right now. So I tried doing this actually this past week too, and I noticed a shift in my energy. Just saying, like at the beginning of the day, it's going to be amazing today. Thinking to myself, I'm capable, I'm healthy, I'm open to this opportunity. And when you start to shift the way that you're feeling here, you start feeling it here, your body starts to catch up with it. So mind, body, and spirit, I really want you to see it, feel it, drink it, believe it, and then you're going to start to manifest. High Priestess also connected with spiritual work, spiritual development, psychic abilities, and you're going to be able to see and pick up on things right now. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the little thought in the back of your head, maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't do that. That's going to help you make the right decisions. Now let's talk about the empowered pieces here with both the 2 and 3 of Wands. The important thing is to step into this, which is the dreaming, and then you can quickly step into the doing or the recognizing. We'll use the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith to get a little more context here. So with the 2 of Wands, one of the ways that you can connect to this card is by creating like a vision board, or even sort of putting those affirmative thoughts on a piece of paper that you look at while you're brushing your teeth, kind of getting it in your line of sight and also in your third eye. And dreaming, daydreaming and dreaming, and not capping that dream. That's what this card was about. And, so not putting a glass ceiling there. Instead, just saying, I'm going to reach for that. I think I can do it. Essentially, this person has the entire world in their hands, but they just have to realize it and basically take it for a spin, take that idea for a spin. Once you do that, Look at how bright the contrast is on this. It's bright gold. So this is the ideation card. This is the realization card. So this person is seeing the ships coming in. What I like about this one versus the reinvented one here is it looks like this person's a little closer to the shore, and this person isn't necessarily seeing the ships yet or even in their trajectory. So I like to remind people that in order to really make this card work, you have to be willing to look there, all directions, because you never know where the ship may be coming in from. So I would encourage you in this moment to open your mind to your dreams and open your sort of dreams to happen in any particular direction or at time. And the more open you are, the more you're going to be able to maximize and meet that synchronicity where it's at. Let's move on to your outcome card. So we have partnership here in the form of the Queen and the King of Wands. So some of you may be meeting a like-minded partner. We have a very Taurus energy with this particular illustration. But I would say for many of you, this is just about being bullish on your future. So the bull is not necessarily a great symbol in this movie, but it is a good symbol financially. And when we're looking at what you're having here it's a change in finances. Someone here isn't bullish, but you are. A bear market is sort of retreating. A bull market is moving forward, charging forward. I want you to be bullish about the possibilities, to take control, creative control of things, and speak up when you need to, create any sort of boundaries when necessary, because you have the capacity right now to set things in motion. Your passion is very palpable, and it is what can bring the ships that we were seeing there to come in even faster. It's like the wind beneath the sails, right? So don't underestimate your potential. Absolutely don't underestimate it this month. So overall, I like the spread. Changes, reclamation of power, hidden resources, partnership potential, manifestation, and being able to accomplish things. Some of this may be unexpected to you. You may be limiting yourself. There may be someone trying to convince you that you're not ready. The cards show me otherwise, so I feel like this is a positive change. The next portion of this one is going to be the expanded forecast, where we go into health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with health first, which is your mind, body, and spirit. Let's take a look and let's see where things may be easy and things may be challenging. So we have the orphan here. So some of you may not have been born an orphan, but you may have lived long enough that now you're the matriarch or patriarch. Or like me, there's no living relatives anymore except like some aunts and uncles or cousins, but the immediate family is gone. So you could come into the world not an orphan, but be that feeling of being the hermit or the orphan right now. So now is a time to mix, to mingle, to expand your network. And it's not necessarily about immediately trying to find a love interest. It's finding people that vibe in the same energy that you do so that you have resources to reach out to. Friendship, advice, mentorship, all of that. And finding a way to feel connected or plugged in. So friendship in particular is coming through loud and clear. If you see someone else in your life that seems like they're sitting at the table alone, go over there, reach out, be inclusive. Be the cheerful Three of Cups where you're welcoming someone into the fold rather than sort of, sitting on your own as well, okay? And this is reverse, so it's saying that this period of feeling isolated, it's coming to a close, but we can imagine that this is the hand that's in any one of the ace cards. Ace of Cups, Swords, Pentacles, Wands. There's always a hand that is offering something. So you're either going to be the one that offers or the one that receives. If you're receiving, just say thank you. Yes, this is the time, finally. We'll look at that when we go into relationships, and we'll also look at it in Sun, Rising, and Moon to see if there's any more partnership that's coming forth. But I see it already in the two center cards, Knight and Page of Coins, and then the Queen and King of Wands here. So I think there is partnership if you need it. Okay, let's focus now on general health messages. Again, I'm looking at intuitive messages on this. If you're going through anything, obviously work with a professional as needed. Okay, so the center card is encouraging you to take a look, like I said, at the herbs, the vegetables, the fruit that you're putting into your body, and maybe to balance out Western and Eastern medicine in a way that feels right. And we again talked about the power of getting outside, the power of being close to plants and flowers. It actually is a very healing energy. There could have been, I think I've seen this 3 or 4 times. Many signs have had either judgment, death, or something transformative in the past. So you had a wake-up call. Judgment has been coming through a lot. You had a wake-up call. The question is, did you hit snooze or have you already moved past it? I think you moved past it or we would have judgment. But don't let this scare you. It was one moment in time. It was one thing that came through. And now all that Spirit's really asking you to do is to be smarter and to go into a different trajectory, to try new things, basically. We talked about this earlier. Besides the hearing and seeing portion, it's really about paying attention to something small before it becomes something larger. So if there's a small ache or pain, deal with it now. If there's something minimal going on in your house that needs to be taken care of, do it now before a little drip becomes a flood, basically. So that's the main thing there. Preventative maintenance and not ignoring things. Preventative care, since we're looking at health here. Your ability to really go deeper into meditation and intuitive development this month could be very advantageous. It can help aid the healing. I'm a strong believer it's not an either or. We can use medicine and we can use intuitive gifts together, stronger, to amplify it. So when you focus on healing modalities in addition to physical therapy or something, the combination of like Reiki and PT can really help you heal. So this could be a nice blending of the two as well. Now, this is really interesting. For those of you that lost someone or had a brush with death or an NDE, what we have here is now that there's a new passageway that's been opened up. A little bit more sensitive, a little bit more awake. This can be both exciting and sometimes a little bit confusing. Take your time. You can develop it if you want to, but there's no rush. I just see that the door has been opened up for some of you, and that might be something worth exploring. What I'm doing here, working with cards, was one of the ways that I made sense of my own awakening. So there's many different ways, from meditation to tarot to mentorship, whatever it is you're looking for, okay? Let's see. I think that's pretty much everything. This month is manageable. Most of what happened in the past, and it's just a matter of taking that to heart. There are several cards that are typically seated, so if you're sitting a lot, make sure that you take breaks to take some of the pressure off the lower spine to get the circulation moving, and that's everything for health. Let's move on to wealth. I'm really excited to see this because there are so many powerful cards coming through for wealth. Your oracle card here was reversed, but it says there is a stream of love supporting my dreams. So that is you opening up to what we see in this Eight of Swords. Surprise. Oh my gosh, I can do this. Even though someone said I couldn't or I tried in the past and I failed, this is a different moment in time. And again, the stream of love supporting my dreams. When you love what you're doing, it bolsters things. When you're bullish on the idea, it really brings new life to it. This King of Wands literally is on fire, and that's not a hyperbole. He has fire all around him. So this is a chance to really infuse life into things, and they'll ignite in a positive way. Let's break it down into 3 categories. We're going to look at those of you that currently have a job first, then I'll kind of graft in the entrepreneurs after that. Then we'll look at job seekers, and then I'll combine students and retirees. So starting with people that have a traditional 9-to-5 job, here's what I see. There is someone that is very stuck in their ways. That Emperor energy, I feel like that's what's compressing or creating stress in your life. They want it to be the same old, same old. They may also really be focused on money, on like, what is the financial return? You're creative, they're financially driven. They're sometimes ignoring things that could bring good finances because it's connecting with what people want. And they're like, so I think what you could do here in this situation is research what customers, best practices out there, whatever, what people want and what people are saying, bring that to the person. But you may be stuck in a place that is conservative. And this is where it kind of veers into, well, maybe maybe you either need to move a division or move on in that situation. If you're happy with your job and you're just like, Nicholas, I just need to know what to navigate right now. Here's what I'm seeing. There are more resources than people are telling you about. You might be talking to the wrong person, not the decision maker, or they're keeping some stuff under the surface. I remember this much about my corporate experience. We're nearing the end of the year. Different companies have different fiscal years, but it's about now. And if memory serves, if there's money left unspent, it doesn't look good for the next year. So one thing that you can try to do is get in right on the end of a fiscal year, and people are more likely to spend the fourth quarter, because if they spend their whole budget, they usually get that same budget the following year. If they spend less than it, then their budget is reduced. It's kind of like a credit limit on a card. If you don't use it, like credit card companies sometimes slices it in half. If you use it and use it responsibly, they keep it. So talk to someone from that perspective saying, hey, this is a good time. You can invest part of it in this quarter, part in next quarter. So be strategic, because King and Queen of Wands are strategic about the spending, and you can save them money because you could get it between 2 years and 2 financial quarters. That's a deep dive. I'm not, again, a financial person or an MBA, but I do know a little bit, and it's kind of putting itself out here in the cards, so that might work for you. Other things that I'm seeing right now, you could be really creative and you just prototype things. This is a great way actually to answer the original problem. Show this person, don't tell them. If they can see it working, or if they can see it in real life, and Three of Wands tells me that it's already out there, then they're more likely to do it. This person's risk averse. So if you can help assuage their concerns around risk, like make them feel better, that will help. Please record your ideas. Sketch it out, voice memo, prototyping. This is a really rich moment for things to come through you. You are a channel right now. And definitely get it in writing. And this is a good time for contracts, curriculums, and learning. So I feel like you can do a lot, but there is a limit in the way that the organization thinks. There could be a slight glass ceiling here. If you keep producing, though, you could maybe even come up with a new way to justify how you could get like a new title or a new job. So you can make it happen. It's a question of if you want to do the work. Generally speaking, things look good. I'm not worried about anything right now. As far as like breakups and shakeups, when we're looking at the company, it looks like it already happened. So it's just a matter of picking up the pieces and figuring out if that's what you like. For those of you that just moved through like a merger, et cetera, it's coming through in the past. Okay, that's for those that are working. Entrepreneurial sort of energy, this is the time. 3 really core boss cards. You may be in some sort of like a small business or LLC or equivalent in other companies or countries where there's 2 or 3 primary owners. And I feel like it's a good month. This isn't the month to be too conservative. We want to reinvest some of the things. And I feel like some of you may also have 2 products that are producing and 1 that isn't. So we want to focus on the producers as well. Like what's bringing a return there. If there's something where there's no demand and there's not a lot of passion, then we just need to kind of like be smart about that. Because I feel like there's something new that's brewing. So keep the 2 that are producing, put that on the shelf, and then focus on development. A company is only as good as how far it's looking out. So research and development is what's missing, or where the opportunity is this month to put your time and energy. Okay, job seekers. I am just completely validating that some of you are sick of waiting, and you're saying, Nicholas, it has to happen now. I've been going through crickets for a while. I'm tired of the crickets. I hear you. The 8 of Swords is telling me, and I've been conveying this as much as possible to the past 3 or 4 signs, but whatever you've been trying, focus on something else. Rather than waiting to hear back from someone who you've applied to 2 or 3 times, or you really, really want, but you're not hearing anything, I'd like you to go further out. So when we look at these 2 cards, they're looking in the distance, not right here, not right around them. So, and it's really easy to see in these illustrations. This person's literally maybe even spinning the globe in the Two of Wands, and the other one is looking over there. So I'd like you to go beyond what you've done and think about other things. How else can you package your skills? Where else would you be willing to live or move to? And how else could you approach this, maybe even in the way that you're presenting your resume, portfolio, etc., to stand out? I do see people looking. And I do think you have 2 or 3 options on the horizon. 2 or 3 of Wands could take 2 or 3 weeks. Should be sooner than later. But whatever you've tried, don't try that anymore. Try something else. And your written communication is really valuable right now, the 3 of Pentacles. So if you know multiple languages, if you're just really, you have a command of one of those languages, serve that up on the resume too. Say, hey, I don't know if you know this. I have a degree in marketing or English or journalism. I can speak this language very well. I can translate. But you shouldn't be giving that away for free. Sometimes bilingual people or trilingual or polyglots, they don't get their fair share, because to be able to speak multiple languages with great fluency, you should command a higher value for that. And we see someone here that may not be willing to pay that. So don't give that work away. You have a potential there to, again, to maximize your earnings. Definitely when it comes to negotiation, this could be a lowball offer. Don't accept it. There are better offers waiting. Like we see the 3 that I said, 2 or 3. One of them you can just say no to if it's insulting. I do see the ability to get a higher title with all the King and Queen cards that came through. So hold out for that if you like. You have to try something different. 2 to 3 weeks out from the time that you watch this, that's when I see something coming through. Students, I love where you're at right now, actually. I feel like you're getting a lot of value. There might be one thing that is just not what you expected, but most of it looks really, really good. This can also just be the cost of education. It's going up so much, it's almost ridiculous. Do whatever you can to make sure that in the long run, this is not going to be a burden. So this could just be deciding to spread the degree over, instead of 4 years, maybe it's 6 years and you're working part-time, or you go to a company that pays for a portion of it and then you agree to work a couple extra years. Be creative in the financing, and that's going to help you. I'm still paying. I should be completely paid off maybe by the end of next year, but it took a long time, folks, couple decades, more than I thought it would. So I'm completely empathizing with students right now. Make sure that you find creative ways to finance. It'll help you in the long run. The only thing that I think you're fine. That's it. It's coming through. Maybe as time management as well, time and money. Just put some extra focus on there, but everything else looks good, okay? And if you've already changed majors or whatever, it feels like it was a change for the better. If you feel stuck and want to change, I think it's okay to do so. Just finish out this current semester. That's my advice. Okay, let's look at retirees. Right now, some of you are at a sort of like a standstill or a crossroads. That's the word I'm looking for. You're at a crossroads and you're trying to figure out what you want to do next. So I actually feel like it's a dreaming and doing and learning period. So all of these cards work together. You may decide to study a little bit more about something. You might want to travel and see if there's a different place that you want to live. Maybe you're also reaching out to connect with people from different backgrounds, etc. This is a new chapter in your life where you're not necessarily, if you want to work, you're working because you want to. It could be volunteer work or you're just bringing in some extra money. But the main thing that you want to focus on is, how does it inspire you? How does it get you to this fiery, passionate King of Wands energy? And give yourself permission to just do something bold, unexpected, completely different, something that your mom, dad, or grandparent would say, you shouldn't do that. And now you're like, guess what? I am doing this. I'm old enough. I'm a grown adult. This is my moment to shine. So yes, I'm not worried so much about your finances. I feel like some of you have actually been really, really frugal. If you're on this end of the spectrum, then there is money-making opportunities to be had. And it's a matter of kind of tuning into that earlier portion where I was saying, look in different geographical places and look at different ways that you could repackage your skills. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to love and relationships. we have an interesting card that came through on this one. The Raven was reversed, but let's look at it upright. It says news. If we look at that very, very almost incomprehensible word above news, or above Raven. So for some of you, there could be incoming news. And here's the funny thing. Don't trust the gossip so much, because I'm looking at all these crows that are talking, and I'm looking at this really as kind of like a gossipy Three of Cups. So I feel like go to the source. If you hear something about someone, talk to that person. If you have something to say, talk to that person, because gossip invariably is not accurate. And if you add to it or give too much sort of credibility to it, it's just going to get you in trouble. Okay? Go to the source. That's the message there. All right, let's take a look at this in 3 categories. Those that are in a relationship, looking for love, or happily single. If you are presently in a partnership, here's what I see. First of all, I like the pairing. 2 strong and passionate people. It feels like both of you are really engaged in something that you care about right now. There's a little less time to spend with one another. You may sometimes feel like you're in the same room with the person, and either conversation goes dormant, or they're stuck on their device, their phone, or their mobile device, and they're just not tuning in. It's really important to feel like you are seeing one another and you are feeling seen as well. Plan a trip, plan an outing, plan a date night. Put it on the calendar and consider it like a contractual thing that you have to keep honest about, and then and only then do we kind of see things moving in the right direction. I do feel like there's been a little bit of stagnation. This happens in long-term relationships, and it's about changing things up. So try something different, do something unexpected, surprise your partner, and I feel like that could really be a positive move for many of you. There may be this feeling for some of you that it's time to move in a new direction, and that's okay. I feel like it can be amicable. I'm not getting cards here that show an acrimonious or a difficult separation. I think the partner will be surprised. I think that it's worth talking it out, because I do feel like if you're just frustrated, that there can be a happy resolution. For everyone else, let's say your relationship is good. What I see coming through right now could be some unexpected good news. I see also, again, just a challenge in resources like time and energy, just finding better management there. And I see the ability, it feels like one of you might have just graduated, or there might be some reason to celebrate, but I'm not seeing the celebration. So this could be another way to bring one another closer, is to say, let's celebrate, let's do the party. Maybe it's a big birthday, maybe it's one of those big milestones. Now is the time to really focus on that and say, job well done. One last thing, and then we'll move on to those seeking love. What I'm getting here is possibly children taking center stage, or a blended family where there could be relatives coming in, and it's a crowded house, because this can be the grandparent, this can be the children, and it's sort of like, where's our space? Where's our time? So that may be that's the thing. There's no privacy. So finding a way to make sure that on occasion you have a night together away from this, and also making sure that there's boundaries. This person, whether it is a parent or grandparent, sometimes they're very judgmental. And, honestly, it's your life, it's your decisions, and you have to almost create boundaries for them. With gratitude, with love, with understanding, because they helped you, kind of be the person that you are, but this is your house. And so there may be sort of a reestablishing of who's the boss. All right. For those that are looking for love, can you find it? Yes. I mean, this is the manifestation sort of trio here. The energy that you're manifesting is King of Wands. When I look at this card, I just get this immediate flash of someone that may come to you and just give you their number or ask for your number. They're bold, they're direct, it may be a little bit off-putting. It should also be a little bit of a compliment if that happens. So that's one potential partner. I also see one that has been burned. So they maybe been divorced or recent breakup, and they're kind of hiding their heart a bit. They could be in the background looking at you, trying to get your attention, And the opportunity here is for you to be the bold one that goes up and says, hey, and you'll figure out how to start the conversation, but somehow reaching out across the aisle and connecting. The big takeaway here, there are two cards that I want to focus on for those that are looking for love. This one, Eight of Swords. This really has to do with the feeling that you are ready now, that you are lovable, that you are a great catch, kind of thinking this to yourself, not in an ego sort of way, just more in self-respect and understanding your worth. And just looking around and thinking, maybe someone else sees what I see, and then that will open it up. And then also giving yourself a chance to be seen, not holding back, really connecting. This person is holding on to a star. It's just dress bold, speak boldly, be whoever you need to be so that, when you meet someone, it's your authentic self. And that's going to be sexier and more attractive than projecting something that you're not, or pulling back and kind of like just being afraid to give it a shot. So Four of Pentacles and Eight of Swords are the only things that are holding you back. Give it a go. I feel like this is a great month to meet somebody. An old soul, someone who might be on a rebound. That's the other thing that I'm seeing here as well. Okay, moving on for those of you that are happily single. Good for you. This is a good month to focus on launching something new in your life. Anything you want. If you can see it, you can do it. And it's a time to really put your energy behind that passion project. You'll see a lot of movement. It'll be very fulfilling. And you can master any sort of new practice, skill, or hobby as well. Just because you're single does not mean that you are isolated this month, because we have the Queen of Wands, the King of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, 3 or 4 people coming in, plus a potential mentor. So this is a great time to focus on dealing with this, which is not feeling alone, not feeling too much in that hermit energy, getting involved with any sort of organization, any sort of hobby or sport, anything educational. This is going to expand your network and your consciousness this month. And I think that's a great place to be. And it's really up to you where you want to put the focus. Again, since this was in the environment. So you decide on that. All right, focusing now on destiny. All right, this reads total submersion. Don't be afraid to totally immerse yourself in a project, interest, or goal. Give it 100%, and you may find what your life has been lacking. So go in head first. It's what I was just talking about. You get to decide where you want to make a splash. You can make a splash this month in anything you choose. Even or especially if you didn't do it in the past, you're in a different place now. That existed solely to help you see what else was out there. Sometimes we have to lose something or have to experience a delay of some sort or disappointment in order to recalibrate and see what's possible. And that's really what we're seeing with these two cards here. Let's go a little bit deeper now into the energies of Sun, Rising, and Moon, so that for those of you that are cross-watching, you can see what's going on. All right, let's give the cards a shuffle. Sun, Rising, and Moon. All right, we'll begin first with Sun sign. In the Sun sign, we have Empress energy, more boss energy, but this is also divine feminine. So she is all about creation, birthing, creating, nurturing. You can do that for yourself, being reborn, reinventing things. You can decide to give to yourself things like education, support, etc. This is also one of the penultimate boss cards. So anything that you want to put your leadership behind is also going to be very fruitful. You may be a new mother, some of you, or a new parent, or you've added, like me, a little furry love into your life. Apollo's been with me for quite a while now. He's sleeping as we speak. But yeah, almost, 2017 is when I adopted him. But I'll see if I can get him to look up later. But anyway, whether it's a child or a project or a pet, this is a birthing and creating month. Keep up with it, have some fun, and you're in the right direction. Moving on to Rising, we have Six of Wands, success. Again, suffice it to say, you are headed in a very good direction right now. Whether you see other people connecting with what it is that you're trying to do, or you're kind of leading the charge, keep putting your energy behind something that you care about. Right back to the Destiny card. Go head first, go 100%, And the quality and the passion that results from that is what's going to be the attraction that brings all of the followers that we see at the bottom. The other thing with this is success is very much a subjective thing. So what your mom or dad or what society deems as successful may differ greatly from what you think is successful, and that is fine. Redefine what success means. Also, release the feeling that you failed, something in the past. I look at failure as a learning experience, and as long as you don't repeat, as long as you grow from it, then it actually is just an experience, and we don't have to give it so much weight or energy, okay? But suffice it to say, you're in a breakthrough energy this month when it comes to feeling more successful, being more successful, and leading the charge. Moon sign. We have a need to get some distance here, the Eight of Cups. So while we're talking, I'm going to pull the traditional card, but there's an emotional release that we can see definitely in this particular illustration. But the Eight of Cups also signifies, for some of you, you've been working so long, you haven't taken a vacation. Maybe you've been down a path so long that you forgot what it was that you wanted. Like, where do you stop and where does someone else begin? And if you can take a sabbatical, a leave, a vacation, etc., now would be a great time to do so. This is also just really good for exploring new things. You don't have to make a promise that you're going to do it forever. Just try it. You're at a buffet table, you're going to give something a taste. Same thing with trying a new sport, a new activity, putting your sort of energy into a new relationship, whatever it is, just give it a shot and look at it from a distance rather than getting too much in your headspace. But definitely for those of you that are just feeling heavy emotions, some time off could help you so much. It could clear your mind. Let's move on now. One final question. This is your chance to ask anything that still is sort of unclear to you. We'll see what Spirit has to say on that, and then we'll wrap up. All right, so go ahead, formulate your question, and I'll pull a single card and see what is in store. It's the only one that came through reverse. We have the Hanged Man in reverse, and this is really encouraging you to be patient, not to push something to completion before it's ready or before you're ready. And that patience will pay off tenfold. The Hanged Man helps you see something from a new angle, from a new perspective, and it really helps you understand something that you wouldn't have otherwise if you just rushed. So be present, be patient, and as a yes or no, it's not yet. Wait a little bit, sleep on it, make sure that you've explored it from all angles, and then and only then move forward, okay? The other thing with this one is sometimes there's a little bit of recovery that needs to be done in the ankle or Achilles heel, just around the foot there. Basically be extra careful and give it a little TLC if you've ever had an injury. That, my friends, is everything. A super powerful reading, definitely some hidden resources and hidden growth opportunities, the ability to manifest this month, some good stuff overall. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do me a favor. If you're brand new, subscribe. If you've watched for years but never subscribed, it's free. Please do it. It helps me know that this is something that you enjoyed, and it helps other people discover this. You can also like and leave a comment below and let me know what resonated with you. Give me a follow on social media as well. It's my full name on all major platforms. You can go to my website for more information or the main page on YouTube, and all the links are there. Remember, I don't offer private readings, so if anyone tries to offer one across social media, block and report. It's an imposter, basically. To give some support, you can do it here on YouTube through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. This helps me continue to rebuild my studio and to do more videos just like this. And I just want to say thanks. But before we wrap up here, let's see. Apollo's still sleeping. I'll see if I can get his attention. Hey, buddy. Yes. Good boy. Yes. All right. At least we can see his eyes there. Thank you, everybody, for really being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I wouldn't be able to be here unless you guys showed up and continue to do the work on yourselves. So from my heart to yours, I wish you all the best. If you've never checked out some of my other videos, I also do weekly collectives and dailies in addition to these monthlies. So check them out. Till I see you again, all the best.